Hey everybody, it's Damien from Guitar Journey once again, and as always, I hope your personal guitar journey is going awesome. You know, I'm really excited about today's video because the drill that I have for you today is going to enhance your picking efficiency, it's going to enhance the strength, the independence of movement, and the precision of your fretting hand, and you know, also, with just a little bit of hard work, it's going to be another great way, another musical way of learning your fretboard. You know, not long ago, I released a video with a picking exercise that had you going up the string 2 strings at a time in a given key. 3 notes per string, 2 strings at a time. That's a very valuable exercise. And if you missed it, I'm going to put the link to that video in the description below. But I got to admit, that exercise, that video is for intermediate to advanced level players. It's pretty challenging. The reason I'm so excited for today's video is that I really believe it is going to be useful for pretty much everyone, and that includes you. Whether you're at the, you could say, advanced beginner stage or the intermediate stage, or even if you're a pretty advanced player, I really believe pretty much anyone can benefit from today's exercise. Now, by way of just a tiny bit of background, I found that in my private teaching practice, usually when it comes to clean technique, and by clean technique, I don't mean really super fast shred kind of stuff. I mean, that stuff's awesome. I love it, but myself, I'm not a shredder. Whatever style of music you want to play, you want to execute the notes cleanly. You want to have good, clean technique. And I find that very often, one specific thing tends to hold players back from executing more challenging passages. And that one thing is the strength and the accuracy of their 4th finger, the pinky finger. And usually the real hang-up is when we try to execute some kind of passage, some series of notes that has us going back and forth from our ring finger to our pinky finger, between fingers 3 and 4 in other words. I opened today's video with a passage that incorporates a lot of back and forth between my ring finger and my pinky. You can go back and look at the intro to today's video and kind of see how I'm fretting that passage, how I'm fingering that passage. And of course, you know, our pinky is our weakest finger, and it has the least degree of independence of movement. And I find that most players, you know, don't have too much trouble moving, you know, from, let's say, from their middle finger to their pinky or from their index finger to their pinky. But they do have difficulty moving between their ring finger and their pinky, okay? The greatest challenges seem to be passages between the ring and the pinky, okay? Today's drill is going to address that, and it's going to help us to work on some other things simultaneously. You know, whenever I come up with a drill or an exercise, I like to be working multiple skills simultaneously. Practice time is limited, and you just need to accomplish a lot with whatever practice time you have. So work multiple skills simultaneously. Today's drill does that. What we're going to do is we're going to pick a key. I'm going to choose A minor. And we know that the notes in the key of A minor are really easy, right? Just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No sharp notes, no flatted notes, just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And by the way, just to be clear, we're talking about a natural minor, a Aeolian, if you want to put it that way. We're not talking about harmonic minor, we're not talking about a Dorian, we're just doing a natural minor, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I'm going to find an A minor scale, and I'm going to start with this one here, my index finger at the 5th fret of the 6th string. Now the scale is going to go kind of like this. Like that. And you've certainly seen that scale. It's very likely you've seen that scale before. And you might notice that in the key of A minor, in the scale that I just executed, there is only 1 fret, that is to say a half step, between the notes B and C here at the 7th and the 8th frets of the 6th string, B at the 7th fret, C at the 8th fret, and also between E and F, 7th fret and 8th fret of the 5th string, E and F. And because there's just a half step between B and C and also between E and F, I'm going to fret these notes as you saw with my ring and my pinky. And all I'm going to do is play a series of 4 note groupings, okay? A series of 4 note at a time groupings. These 4 notes are either going to be B to C, back to B, and then an A note. Here, my A note is here at the 5th fret of the 6th string. So B, C, B, A, like that. And E to F, E and F, 7th fret and 8th fret, as I said on the 5th string, my D note is at the 5th fret. 7th fret and 8th fret, E, F, E, D, like that. E, F, E, D. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go B, C, B, A 4 times, and then E, F, E, D 4 times. Like that. Kind of sounds like a horror movie. Next, I'm going to ask myself where else I can find B, C, B, A, and also E, F, E, D on the neck. And there are a few answers to this. We can find the same notes at different places on the neck, but for right now, I'm going to go position my index finger at the 7th fret of the 4th string. And right here, I've got a B note at the 9th fret of the 4th string, a C note at the 10th fret, and again, I've got my A note at the 7th fret of the 4th string. And guess what? I've got an E note at the 9th fret of the 3rd string, an F note at the 10th fret, and a D note at the 7th fret of the 3rd string. So I'm going to play my next series of 4 note groupings right here in this position, and it's going to look like this. Like that. Time to change positions again. And again, I've got a couple of options about where I'm going to find the next series of notes. I'm going to go and position my index finger at the 10th fret of the 2nd string, because as it happens, I've got a B note here at the 12th fret of the 2nd string, a C note at the 13th fret, and an A note at the 10th fret of the 2nd string. Yep, I've got an E note at the 12th fret of the 1st string, an F note at the 13th fret, and a D note at the 10th fret. So again, same fret between the 2nd and the 1st strings. So my next series of 4 note groupings is going to look like this. Like that. And finally, maybe I can get in one more 4 note grouping. I can bring my index finger all the way to the 17th fret of the 1st string, kind of a tight squeeze. I've got a B note at the 19th fret and a C note at the 20th fret. My A note, as I said, is here at the 17th fret of the 1st string. So I can maybe play one more 4 note grouping if I want to, like this. Like that, okay? So that's the layout in terms of the actual drill. Now, in terms of rhythm, as always, you can get pretty creative, pretty crazy really, with this kind of thing, but for now, maybe just keep it as 8th notes if you're comfortable with 8th notes. Remember 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 16th notes. We count 16ths, remember, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Do whatever you're more comfortable with. Other things being equal, of course, 16th notes will literally be twice as fast as 8th notes. So again, find your comfort zone. Set your metronome at a tempo where you can be comfortably challenged. And whether you're doing 8th notes or 16th notes, try to do the entire series of 4 note groupings without any interruption. It can look like this. Okay, a couple of pointers. As always, you really want to try to have clean technique. We don't want our fingers to be flat like that, right? We don't want to do that. We want our fingers to be curled over the neck so that we're playing the notes on our fingertips. Remember at the beginning of this video when I said this exercise will do a lot for your picking motion? Here's why. One of the reasons this is so good for your picking motion is that I find that many players don't, even when they're alternate picking, they don't really have an efficient picking motion. Generally, their picking motion is bigger, wider, you might say, than it needs to be. So I'm going to exaggerate, okay? Watch my right hand. I'm going to exaggerate. Even when people are alternate picking, I very often see people kind of going down, up, with a really, really big motion. And that's not efficient, okay? This exercise, because we're doing 4 notes in a row all on the same string, your pick really doesn't have to move more than 2 or 3 millimeters at a time. And so once you're comfortable with the left hand aspect of the drill, once you're comfortable finding the notes and all that, you can start to focus on your picking hand, and you can really make certain that you're moving your picking hand in a very efficient motion, okay? Essentially as small a motion as possible. Making your picking motion tighter, more controlled, traveling only the distance between notes that is absolutely necessary will really clean up your picking and allow you to play faster, more comfortably, more precisely, okay? And again, I just want to emphasize, clean technique is not just for people who play hard rock, heavy metal, shred kind of stuff. Again, I really like that stuff. It's pretty cool, but those aren't the only kinds of players who need good, clean, precise technique, okay? I'm not a shred player, as I said. None of my private students are. Well, only a couple of my private students are, really. But we all work at having more efficient, cleaner technique, okay? So that's today's exercise, all right? As always, please hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe, because there's a ton of great content here on the Guitar Journey channel, and there's a ton of great content on the way. We're adding more content all the time. So again, please hit that subscribe button, and also please leave me a comment. I always like to point out that even if you disagree with me or you feel that I've left something out, please leave a comment so that we can all have a discussion which will enrich all of our respective guitar journeys. Okay, that being said, I got a little bonus for you. If you want to go even deeper, well, earlier at the beginning of this video, I promised that we could also turn this exercise into a great way to learn some music theory and equally to get better knowledge of the notes on our fretboard. And that's what we're about to do, okay? Let's think about what we just did for a minute. We were in the key of A minor, and the first 4-note grouping, remember, was B, C, B, A. B, C, B, A, okay? Well, if we're in the key of A minor, remember I pointed out earlier, our notes are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We can number those notes. There are 7 in total. We just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, starting with A. So if A is 1, that means B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, and G is 7. I'm going to repeat that because it's pretty important. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7, okay? And like I just said, my first 4-note grouping was B, C, B, A, so numerically speaking, you could say that my first 4-note grouping was 2, 3, 2, 1. Remember, B is 2, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. If I went B, C, B, A, then we're going 2, 3, 2, 1. Now remember, my other 4-note grouping was E, F, E, D. And if that's the case, what I'm really doing is going 5, 6, 5, 4. Remember, E was number 5, okay? A, B, C, D, E. So E was 5, F was 6, and D was 4. E, F, E, D, therefore, is 5, 6, 5, 4. E, F, E, D, 5, 6, 5, 4. Let's remember those numbers. 2, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 5, 4. The reason we want to remember those numbers is because that's what's going to allow us to change keys with this drill. And if we can change keys, we can start playing the exercise all over the neck, and it'll be a great music theory lesson and a great way of learning the fretboard. So let's do just one example, and I'm going to choose a slightly less common key, which I'm going to choose C minor. Now look, you don't have to know how to find the notes in C minor, okay? You can look it up, just do a search. What are the notes in C natural minor or C Aeolian? But if you want, you can also look at circle of fifths if you're comfortable with that approach. You don't really need to know the notes that make up C minor off the top of your head. Quick aside, very quickly, there are different methods to determine the notes in a given key. What I personally like to do is I like to relate everything to a major scale. A major scale. So if we look at the circle of fifths, or if we just happen to know it some other way, we might recognize that the relative major key of C minor is E flat major. Again, if you're not comfortable with this discussion, it's totally okay. But basically, kind of an oversimplification, but relative keys, relative major and minor keys, essentially have the same notes. I've got a whole video on finding the notes within a key. I'm going to put that link in the description below as well. But in any event, we recognize that E flat major and C minor are relative keys, therefore they're going to have the same notes, and I can apply my whole step, half step, whole step, half step formula to an E flat. And that will give me the notes in E flat major, and of course that means I'm also getting the notes in C minor. If I apply my whole half drill to E flat major, I get E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, and D. Again, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D. Okay? 3 flattened notes, E flat, A flat, and B flat. Because C minor and E flat major are relative keys, C minor is going to have the same notes. So starting from the C note now, we've got C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. And if those are the notes in C minor, and they are, I can now apply my numbers to them. C is going to be 1. D is going to be 2. E flat is going to be 3. F is going to be 4. G is going to be 5. A flat is going to be 6. B flat is going to be 7. Again, once again, there are 7 notes as we would expect. So one more time, C minor. C is note 1, D is note 2, E flat is note 3, F is note 4, G is note 5, A flat is note 6, and B flat is note 7. Now remember, when we did the drill earlier, we were working on notes 2, 3, 2, 1, and also 5, 6, 5, 4. Okay? Now that we're in C minor, we're going to do the same numbers. Well, 2, 3, 2, 1 in C minor, the notes are D, E flat, D, C. 5, 6, 5, 4 in C minor, the notes are going to be G, A flat, G, F. Where can I find these on the fretboard? If I don't mind starting with 5, 6, 5, 4, and why would I can find G, A flat, and F right here on my 6th string. At the 3rd fret, there's my G, my A flat is at the 4th fret, and my F is at the 1st fret. What about D, E flat, and C? There's a D at the 5th fret of the 5th string, E flat is at the 6th string, C at the 6th fret, excuse me, and C is at the 3rd fret of the 5th string, okay? And I can start to work my way up. I've got G, A flat, G, F at the 5th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret of the 4th string. I've got D, E flat, D, C at the 7th fret, 8th fret, and 5th fret of the 3rd string, okay? And I can see where I want to go from there. I might go to the 2nd string. I've got G, A flat, G, F at the 8th fret, 9th fret, and 6th fret of the 2nd string. Or I could have done that at the 12th fret, 13th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret of the 3rd string. Well, time for D, E flat, and C again. How about at the 15th, 16th, and 13th fret of the second string? I've got G, A flat, and F at the 15, 16, and 13th fret of the first string. And, well, let's see. I just went there. There's my G. If I had 24 frets, I could find D, E flat, D, C. At the 22nd fret would be my D. The 23rd fret would be my E flat. And the 20th fret would be my C. But I don't have 24 frets. So I'm not going to bother with that one. I'm going to stop here. But the point really is I'm learning my neck as I practice good technique, okay? So maybe in C minor it could look something like this. I'm not going to bother with the metronome. Maybe in C minor it's going to look something like, again, here's my G, A flat, and F. Here's my D, E flat, and C. Here's my G, A flat, and F again. Here's my D, E flat, and C again. I'm going to jump up here. Here's my G, A flat, and F. Here's my D, E flat, and C. Almost there. Here's my final G, A flat, and F. Okay, what a great drill. It's a multifaceted drill that gives you many benefits simultaneously. All right, now we really are done. If you haven't yet, please do hit the subscribe button. I really would appreciate it, and I really do mean it when I say that I appreciate all of your comments, whether we agree or not. So please be sure to hit subscribe, and please leave me a comment as well. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.